All right, joining us today on this smooth operation that is Pirate Radio Live, Double B, Brian Bailey, the Hall of Famer, host of the Brian Bailey Show, the host of Brian Bailey's Touchdown Friday, coming up this Friday on WNCT Channel 9.
Got a great ring to it. I don't call it that, but everybody else does because they named it.
You're the one that told me that's what it's called.
It is. That's what it's the name of the show, but I don't usually call it that because it sounds kind of, it is Brian Bailey.
When you go
I am Brian Bailey. So.
When you go on the air Friday night, what are you going to call it?
Touchdown Friday. I'll just call it Touchdown Friday. But it will come up as Brian Bailey's Touchdown Friday.
Well,
it's a big honor, too, that they
awesome.
gave to
you
me.
deserve it, man.
Man, it's awesome. It really is cool. I can't wait to see some of the hats we're getting made and shirts we're getting made and that kind of thing with it on there. But
well, let me get one of them. I'll wear it proudly.
I will do it.
Brian, let's get to high school football in a moment, but we're coming off one of the best ECU football media days in the last decade or so. It was very old school, and by that I just mean we had so much time to talk to the coaches and players, very relaxed. It was well put together, and that comes on the heels of last year, which I think we had 30 minutes to talk to every coach and every player.
Yeah.
It was just so different.
Yeah, it was well done. It was organized, and you get a chance. I had some other responsibilities, so I didn't get a chance to talk to as many people as I wanted to. But Zach did a great job getting a lot of interviews, and we're going to need those interviews because it's going to get shut down at East Carolina pretty soon. Blake's not going to do a whole lot the rest of the week, so we've got a chance to use some of that stuff. There's so many different topics you can talk about this time of year and that kind of thing, and then once we get into game week, once we get into the actual game being played, then obviously we can react to how the game went and that kind of thing.
All right, I did my media day superlatives, Bailey. You said you didn't get to talk to a ton, but Zach did, so maybe you can combine what you guys did at WNCT or what you've done, with this team on your show or out there at practice. Best coach interview, I went with Darrell Roberts. Who would be your best coach interview?
Well, I'm kind of partial to Mags all the time because he's he's so funny and it's so fun to mess with him about the interception off Russell Wilson and the big play he made in the state East Carolina rivalry and that kind of thing. But I like Roy Tesh interviewing him all the time because that's the only time he actually speaks without four-letter words. So it's always good to have him interviewed. But yeah, and all those guys are just they're really down to earth.
Bailey, I like them all too. We're just doing superlatives. I like.
I gotta have these guys on this fall. I don't want.
I know. Well, look, I didn't put John David Baker's name up here, and he retweeted it. So they
you gotta like that then.
But Jared had a good interview with Mags and Tesh. If you didn't know Mags was a player, just watching his interview, he is, and of course we're all old now, but like he looks like a seasoned veteran coach.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like it don't even seem like he was playing 10, 12 years
I
ago.
noticed that today. I was trying to get some video of him for a story I'm trying to put together and trying to chase him around because he was all over the place. And it was hard to narrow him down to get a spot. The next thing you know, he's gone. So I'm trying to find him, try to get some nice pictures of him video-wise for the story. But, yeah, he's he loves East Carolina, and he's an accomplished young coach.
Best player interview, I went with Mike Wright, who could have also won my most mature Pirate Award, but I did give that to Parker Jenkins. But who's your favorite player interview on this team right now? I'm partial to the quarterbacks. I like interviewing Caton. That's an easy out, but I've interviewed him more than anybody else on the team probably. And he's good. He's very respectful, and he talks fast. He gets
does.
it over with quick.
He does. And as an interviewer, if you think about it, those guys that talk fast, they make it hard on you because you have to think of your next question.
Yeah.
That's part of the balance act as an interviewer. You ask the question, you're listening to the answer in one ear, and in the other ear, this part of the brain over here, you're thinking about what's my next question going to be. And when they're fast like that, they can be a challenge.
No doubt. Best facial hair, I had to go with Matt Maddox, offensive line coach. Had the big mustache, although Damon Magazoo not too far behind.
Well, Damon used to have the full boat deal right there, but I agree with that one. That was good.
Coolest Pirate, I went with Marlon Gunn with Anthony Smith as a runner-up. Those guys are pretty cool. So it was a fun day. I really enjoyed talking to the guys and talking football and a little bit outside the lines as well.
Yeah, and with those guys going through camp, I know they were probably more relaxed than usual because they got through camp, they were all healthy, and now they get a chance to really narrow down on NC State and the rest of the season. We talk so much about the Wolfpack and that first game, but that's only one of 12, and you got a long way to go in this thing.
Another reason they did a good job with media day, they had the day off after media day, so there was no meet the Pirates or practice or anything.
Right.
So they were in a pretty good mood.
Yeah.
So that helped too. But kudos to Malcolm Gray, Blake Harrell, whoever gets the credit for a really good.
Let's give it to Malcolm. He deserves some credit.
Let's give it to Malcolm
Gray.
So that one guy that called in the fifth quarter last year complaining about Malcolm Gray. I don't know who he was thinking of. Did we ever figure out who?
I remember that story.
He was talking.
That was hilarious.
Malcolm, what did Malcolm do? Cannot wait for the first edition of the U.S. Sailor fifth quarter call-in show coming up after ECU NC State. You and Zach going to be there in Raleigh?
Yes, we'll actually Ken Watlington will also be there early. I'm not sure if he's staying for the game or not. Kenneth Roundtree will be there with us from Channel 9. We're going to go live from outside the stadium with one group and inside the stadium. Can't go on the field. That's an NC State deal, but we can go live on the concourse there. So we're going to do that as far as our coverage goes at 5 and 6 on game day.
And as far as shooting, you shoot highlights?
Yes,
of games?
As far as I know, yeah. I think we're still allowed to shoot the highlights of the game, have our own, and that's a big deal. Plus, we'll get help from the 17 folks, Gibby and those guys if we need it. So,
well, that'll be next Thursday. Not that you need a tune-up shooting games, Bailey, but you'll get your fix this Friday.
Yes,
with
we
high
will.
School football.
High school football starts. Man, another season of high school football, and just talking to the coaches, I joked around that a lot of the coaches that the legendary coaches that when I first got here, now the fields are named after them. It's kind of funny. It's Dixon Sauls.
I thought about him in Farmville.
Yeah, Clay Jordan Stadium over at West Craven, and Wilbur Sasser Field at Havelock. So there's a slew of them that have, and basketball is even worse because everybody in Pitt County's got a coach that's been there a long time, and their court's named after the coach. So,
God, I remember when Rob Maloney was a young man.
Yeah,
because I was young then too, and now he's on the court, right?
Yeah,
there at
Rob Maloney on the court.
Speaking of Conley, I heard you played the cut with Blake Harrell on your show, which you asked him the question right about high school football coming back. So Matt Maddox, offensive line coach, I said to him Saturday, look, I'm a little biased. I'm a Conley guy, so tell me about Bryce Weaver, Panda Askew. And he said, I'm kind of a little biased too. That's my daughter's, is Wintergreen Hope Conley.
Yeah.
So he's in the district, whatever. But he said, look, we want to start in North Carolina, and if we can, start right here around us. And thought about the good football in the area, Bailey. And always nice when you get some Pirates, Rampants, Jaguars, Chargers, whatever, over here with ECU.
It really is, and you get a chance, just to you followed him. Holton's the obvious thing. You followed him all through. I followed him from middle school on, and just his career. But all those local kids like that. I mean, it's a big deal. And I was hopeful that Blake would give us a good answer. He gave us a better than good answer. It was a great answer about high school football and the communities and. It's really, there's a Tarboro kid on the Pirate team in the defensive backfield. Forget his name, but he's over there. There's all kinds. We got
our first JP2 guy, right?
Yeah.
Ryan
Roseborough, yeah. I was over at JP2 the other night for scrimmages, and Ryan, he was fun to watch, man. He was so big and strong that when they got around the goal line, I didn't even shoot the play. I would just shoot him because we knew he was going to get the ball, and it made for some great video.
And we're talking about, Pirate or high school kids going to the next level with East Carolina or whatever it may be. The great thing about Touchdown Friday is for some of those guys, that's it. That's their last play in organized football, and for them and their parents to see them on TV and see those highlights or to maybe make Bailey's best if you're lucky enough.
That's right. I remember
it's very special.
I remember when I played high school football, and I remember the last game we were playing one of our rivals, and the coach was saying, look, some of you guys are going to take the uniform off and you'll never put it on again. Most of you guys are like that. And I thought to myself, man, there's no way I'll never play football again. I've been playing all my life. But then you think about it, where are you going to play?
Had anybody recruited you at that point?
Elizabeth City State came to town, came to Indian River, and said they needed a white guy with good grades, and there was three
You're
of
a
us.
minority.
They were looking at, but we didn't. None of us went. But
Wait, the good grades part.
yeah, I had great grades. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I was actually gifted and talented in the city of Chesapeake school system. Now, I don't know what that means, but I was. I got a certificate that says that.
Like that Bailey was in his final high school game and was like, "What do you mean I'm not playing anymore?
Exactly.
I'm gonna be
What are you saying?
Nebraska next year.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?"
Yeah, it's just it's odd though, but
yeah.
because baseball, you play your last game, you can play softball, you can play this or
Right,
that.
yeah.
You know, there's different
Pick
things.
up
Basketball,
basketball, yeah.
but football is different.
Well, we can go out there and play.
Well, in fact, in October, I'm going to meet some of my guys that I played football with, and we're going to Nags Head on one of those weekends that we have off.
but
so.
no football.
Oh no,
I was gonna say, Bailey.
yeah,
don't
we're
do
all
that.
63 now. We're not playing any football.
That's awesome, though, man. And what you always say it. What a great time of year.
Oh, it's just it's the best.
Hell,
I mean,
Saturday we're gonna have football on TV.
Yep, it's just the absolute best just to watch. And I really, in some ways, looking forward to the schedule with all the October Saturdays off. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
crazy
Yep.
that the Pirates don't play any Saturdays in October, but
We
gives
got
us
a
a
week
chance
one
to watch.
Saturday off, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazier too. So I think it gives a chance for a lot of people to get to the beach after the Thursday night game at State. I think East Carolina will have a pretty good crowd at State. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
State's going to have the majority of folks there at their home game, but I think the Pirates will represent.
I think State will show up and their fans. I think there's going to be a little bit of nervous energy in the building.
Oh, I think so too, and I think that you talk about right off the bat, if State doesn't show up for this game, I mean, Dave Dorn goes on the really hot seat.
He kind of lives on the hot seat as it is.
He kind of does, but I think that this is one game that he really needs, and I think the State play. Who was it? It was Debbie Yao that came to town and said that East Carolina had a psychological advantage in the game. I think State's got the psychological advantage because East Carolina beat them last time out, and I think that the State team understands that they're under the gun and they need to win this game.
Well, kind of feels a little bit like when ECU ripped up North Carolina, scored 55, I think, in 2013, and North Carolina said, "Well, we took them lightly or whatever." Then the next year, ECU scored 70, and they couldn't really say that anymore. They said, "Yeah, they just beat us." But if State will not take ECU lightly, is my point.
I don't think they will either.
into
And
this
I think it's going to be how. I asked each one of the assistant coaches the other day, how do you bottle those emotions? How do you keep them bottled up? Because it's gonna build and build and build, and you get to game day, and you got to keep those guys. Even in warm-ups, it's going to be,
Oh, man.
somebody could throw a little gas out there.
Well, back-to-back games, State has gotten in fights. So Dave Dorn is going to do everything he can to keep that from happening. So if I'm ECU, I'm trying to get a little chippy and get them out of their game a little bit.
It could happen.
Here's an idea for you, Bailey.
All right, give me an idea.
And you'll talk to him Monday, but I think one of our listeners is hooking up Rajay with tickets, so he'll be there that Thursday. That might be a good pregame interview.
That would be great.
If you could get up with Rajay.
Yeah, that would
Talk
be
about
awesome.
his touchdown.
Yeah, he's going to be on with us on my show next Thursday. I'm really excited about it.
I said Monday. He said Thursday.
No,
next
Tuesday.
We were both wrong.
You had me confused. You threw me off. No, on Tuesday next week on my radio show, he's going to be on, and Andre Brown's going to be with us. I haven't talked to Andre Brown in a long time. And remember Andre when he scored the touchdown? He looked at my camera and said, "Sorry, Greenville." I found that video.
Cool,
I found that video yesterday. It's pretty interesting, pretty good.
Andre Brown, watched him a lot in high school.
Yeah, he was good. Wow, he was really good.
Yeah, that'll be a fun show next Monday, next Tuesday. This move to Tuesday has messed me up.
That's
I gotta get used to it. Brian Bailey Show Tuesday at noon right here on Pirate Radio, talking old ECU NC State memories.
Yeah,
that'll be good.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Josh Aldrich on today. Great show with Coach Aldrich, so check that out if you missed it. Available on YouTube, and it'll air 6 o'clock here on Pirate Radio. BB, enjoy week 0. We got Iowa State, Kansas State, Fresno State, and Kansas.
You got Hawaii and
Stanford.
Yeah.
On is that your
I
network?
think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So that'd be fun.
So we got some football. And,
Looking forward to it.
We'll reconvene next week.
Sounds good.